Shalom, brothers and sisters of the Most High Yahweh, our Elohim. Welcome. Time for our midweek Bible study. Tonight we're going to be studying Bereshith, which is Genesis, chapter 31 and 32. So we'll get your Bibles so you can read along with me. And we're going to get going tonight. So that way, going to be learning some more about our genealogies and our history. This is our history that we're learning about right now. Genesis is our history. Okay? So, go ahead and we'll get seated here and get going. Bereshith, which is Genesis, chapter 31. And he heard the words of Laban's sons, saying, Jacob has taken away all that was our father's, and from what belonged to our father he has made all this wealth. And Jacob would look at the face of Laban, and see that it was not toward him as before. And Yahweh said to Jacob, Return to the land of your fathers, and to your relatives. I am with you. And Jacob sent and called Rachel and Leah to the field to his flock, and said to them, I see your father's face, that is not towards me as before, but the Elohim of my father has been with me, and you know that I have served your father with all my strength. Yet your father has deceived me, and changed my wages 10 times, but Elohim did not allow him to do evil to me. When he said this, the speckled are your wages, then all the flocks bore speckled. And when he said this, the streaked are your wages, then all the flocks bore streaked. So Elohim has taken away the livestock of your father, and given them to me. And it came to be, at the time when the flocks conceived, that I lifted my eyes and looked in a dream, and saw the rams which leaped upon the flocks were streaked, speckled, and mottled. And the messenger of Elohim, capital M, Yeshua, another Christophany, and the capital M messenger of Elohim spoke to me in a dream, saying, Jacob. And I said, Here I am. And he said, Lift your eyes now, and see. All the rams which leap on the flocks are streaked, speckled, and mottled. For I have seen all that Laban is doing to you. I am the El of Bethel, where you anointed the standing column, and where you made a vow to me. Now rise up, get out of this land, and return to the land of your relatives. And Rachel and Leah answered and said to him, Do we still have a portion or inheritance in our father's house? Are we not reckoned by him as strangers? For he has sold us, and also entirely consumed our silver. For all the wealth which Elohim has taken from our father are ours, and our children's. Now then, do whatever Elohim has told you. So Jacob rose and put his sons and his wives on camels, and he drove off all his livestock and all his possessions which he had acquired, his property of the livestock which he had acquired in Padam Aram, to go to his father Isaac in the land of Canaan. And when Laban had gone to shear his sheep, Rachel stole the house idols that were her father's. And Jacob deceived Laban from the... let's start that over, verse 20. And Jacob deceived Laban, the Aramean, because he did not inform him that he was about to flee. And he fled with all that he had, and he rose up and passed over the river, and headed toward the mountains of Gilead. And on the 3rd day Laban was told that Jacob had fled. Then he took his brothers with him, and pursued him for 7 days' journey, and he overtook him in the mountains of Gilead. But in a dream by night Elohim came to Laban the Aramean and said to him, Guard yourself, that you do not speak to Jacob either good or evil. Then Laban overtook Jacob. Now Jacob had pitched his tent in the mountains, and Laban with his brothers pitched in the mountains of Gilead. And Laban said to Jacob, What have you done, that you have deceived me, and driven my daughters off like captives? Take with the sword? Why did you flee secretly and deceive me, and not inform me? And I would have sent you away with joy and songs, with tambourine and lyre. And you did not allow me to kiss my sons and my daughters. Now you have been foolish to do this. It is in the power of my hand to do evil to you. But the Elohim of your father spoke to me last night, saying, Guard yourself, that you do not speak to Jacob either good or evil. And now you have gone because you greatly long for your father's house. But why did you steal my mighty ones? And Jacob answered and said to Laban, Because I was afraid, for I said, Lest you tear your daughters away from me. With whomever you find your mighty ones, do not let him live. In the presence of our brothers, see for yourself what is with me, and take it with you. For Jacob did not know that Rachel had stolen them. And Laban went into Jacob's tent, and into Leah's tent, and into the tents of the two female servants, but he did not find them. And he came out of Leah's tent, and entered Rachel's tent. Now Rachel had taken the house idols, and put them in the camel's saddle, and sat on them. And Laban searched all about the tent, but did not find them. And she said to her father, Let it not displease my master, that I am unable to rise before you, for the way of women is with me. And he searched, but did not find his house idols. And Jacob was wroth and contended with Laban. And Jacob answered and said to Laban, What is my transgression? What is my sin, that you have hotly pursued me? Now that you have searched all my goods, what have you found of your household goods? Set it here before my brothers and your brothers, and let them decide between the two of us. These 20 years I have been with you. Your ewes and your female goats have not miscarried their young, and I have not eaten the rams of your sheep. That which was torn by beasts I did not bring to you. I myself bore the loss of it. You required it from my hand, whether stolen by day or stolen by night. Thus I was. By day the heat consumed me, and the frost by night, and my sleep fled from my eyes. These 20 years I have been in your house. I served you 14 years for your 2 daughters, and 6 years for your flock, and you have changed my wages 10 times. Unless the Elohim of my father, the Elohim of Abraham, and the fear of Isaac had been with me, you would now have sent me away empty-handed. Elohim has seen my affliction and the labor of my hands, and rendered judgment last night. And Laban answered and said to Jacob, These daughters are my daughters, and these children are my children, and this flock is my flock, and all that you see is mine. But what shall I do today to these, my daughters, or to their children whom they have borne? And now, come, let us make a covenant, you and I, and it shall be a witness between you and me. So Jacob took a stone, and set it up as a standing column. And Jacob said to his brothers, Gather stones. And they took stones, and made a heap, and they ate there on the heap. And Laban called it Yagar Sahadutha, but Jacob called it Gilead. And Laban said, This heap is a witness between you and me today. That is why its name was called Gilead. Also Mitzpah, because he said, Let Yahweh watch between you and me when we are out of each other's sight. If you afflict my daughters, or if you take otherwise beside my daughters, although no man is with us, see, Elohim is witness between you and me. And Laban said to Jacob, see this heap, and see this standing column which I have placed between you and me? This heap is a witness, and its standing column is a witness, that I do not pass beyond this heap to you, and you do not pass beyond this heap and this standing column to me for evil. The Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Nahor, and the Elohim of their father rightly rule between us. And Jacob swore by the fear of his father Isaac. And Jacob slaughtered a slaughtering on the mountain, and called his brothers to eat bread. And they ate bread, and spent the night on the mountain. And Laban rose up early in the morning, and kissed his sons and daughters, and blessed them. And Laban left, and returned to his place. That's 31. Whew! Wow! What a bunch of events there, huh? Jacob made a break for it. He grabbed all of his stuff, and he made a break for it. He didn't even tell Laban anything. He just split. And Laban got all wound up, and he went after him, started chasing him down. And Yah interceded and told Laban, cool your jets. Don't you go after Jacob. Don't you say good things to him or bad things. You just leave him alone. So when he caught up with Jacob, Jacob's like, dude, what is your deal? Here it is that you've messed me around, you screwed me around, you've changed the deal that you and I had 10 times. Everything that I did by the sweat of my brow. These are my wives. These are my children. These are my flocks. I raised them. I helped you out. Everything that I've done, I did according to what I told you I was going to do. It's you that wants to start problems here. And he got all huffy and puffy because Rachel stole his house idols. Why would Rachel do that? Yeah. So he was all hunting for his house idols, his fake gods that don't see or hear or walk or speak or taste or eat or anything. They're just dumb pieces of rock and wood. But old Laban, he's wound up about it, and he needs to find them idols. Well, guess what? He didn't find them. Rachel had them hidden under her saddle, and she said, sorry, it's my type of the month. I'm not going to stand up here. It'll make a mess. And he's like, ugh, and stomped out. But the column that they built between them, okay, now let's think about this. Laban. His name is Laban. Okay? Lebanon, anyone? Lebanon? And he set up a border. Maybe that border still exists between Israel and Lebanon? But they made a covenant that they're not supposed to go after each other. They're supposed to leave each other alone. Pretty interesting, huh? Chain of events that have happened between then and now. Pretty crazy. Alright, let's continue on. Chapter 32. And Jacob went on his way, and the messengers of Elohim met him. Small m messengers, angels. And when Jacob saw them, he said, this is the camp of Elohim. And he called the name of that place Mahanaim. And Jacob sent messengers before him to Esau, his brother, in the land of Seir, from the field of Edom. And he commanded them, saying, say this to my master Esau, your servant Jacob said this, I have sojourned with Laban, and stayed there until now. And I have bulls and donkeys, flocks, and male and female servants, and I have sent to inform my master to find favor in your eyes. So the messengers returned to Jacob, saying, we came to your brother Esau, and he also is coming to meet you, and 400 men with him. And Jacob was greatly afraid and distressed, so he divided the people that were with him, and the flocks and herds and camels into 2 groups. And he said, if Esau comes to the one group and strikes it, then the other group, which is left, shall escape. And Jacob said, O Elohim of my father Abraham, and Elohim of my father Isaac, Yahweh, who said to me, Return to your land and to your relatives, and I do good to you. I do not deserve the least of all the loving commitment and all the truth which you have shown your servant. For I passed over this Jordan with my staff, and now I have become two groups. Deliver me, I pray, from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esau, for I fear him, lest he come and shall strike me and the mother with the children. For you said, I shall certainly do good to you, and shall make your seed as the sand of the sea, which are too numerous to count. And he spent the night there, and took what came to his hand as a present for Esau his brother. 200 female goats and 20 male goats, 200 ewes and 20 rams, 30 suckling camels with their colts, 40 cows and 10 bulls, 20 female donkeys and 10 foals. And he gave into the hand of his servant every drove by itself, and said to his servants, Pass over before me, and put some distance between drove and drove. And he commanded the first one, saying, When Esau my brother meets you, and asks you, saying, To whom do you belong, and where are you going, and whose are these in front of you? Then you shall say, These are your servant Jacob's. It is a present sent to my master Esau, and see, he also is behind us. So he commanded the second, and the third, and all who followed the drove, saying, Speak to Esau the same word when you find him. And you shall say, Also look, your servant Jacob is behind us, for he said, Let me appease him with the present that goes before me, and after that see his face, he might accept me. And the present passed over before him, but he himself spent the night in the camp. And he rose up that night, and took his 2 wives, and his 2 female servants, and his 11 sons, and passed over the ford of Yabok. And he took them, and sent them over the stream, and sent over what he had. And Jacob was left alone. And a man wrestled with him until the breaking day. And when he saw that he did not overcome him, he touched the socket of his hip, and the socket of Jacob's hip was dislocated as he wrestled with him. And he said, Let me go, for the day breaks. But he said, I am not letting you go until you have blessed me. So he asked him, What is your name? And he said, Jacob. And he said, Your name is no longer called Jacob, but Yisrael, because you have striven with Elohim and with men, and have overcome. And Jacob asked him, saying, Please let me know your name. And he said, Why do you ask about my name? And he blessed him there. And Jacob called the name of that place Peniel, for I have seen Elohim face to face, and my life is preserved. And the sun rose on him as he passed over Peniel, and he limped on his hip. That is why the children of Israel to this day do not eat the sinew of the hip, which is on the socket of the thigh, because he touched the socket of the thigh of Jacob in the sinew of the hip. Okay. Jacob's going to meet Esau, but he's afraid, because last he heard, Esau was hunting for him, going to kill him, because not only did he buy his birthright, but he also copped his blessing from his father. So Esau was not too happy when Jacob left. But, it's been 20 years down the road, and maybe things have smoothed over a little bit. So Jacob decides to send him a present, and he sends him a whole bunch of animals up ahead of him. So that way he can kind of test the water as it's coming, as Esau meets up with all of these droves of animals. If Esau just goes crazy and starts slaughtering the animals, maybe Jacob can say, oh, maybe we ought to go this way, and try to get away. But, yeah, it's kind of building, isn't it? It's very interesting about what's going on here. And the interesting thing is when he's wrestling with a man, and the man ends up being Yeshua, and dislocated his hip. Well, I guess that's what happens when you wrestle with the Most High, huh? But that's when he was renamed Yisrael. Okay? And we saw what that means. Right here. Oh. Says, your name is no longer called Jacob, but Yisrael, because you have striven with Elohim and with men, and have overcome. So the name Yisrael holds meaning to it, okay? And I got one place here that we're going to go check real quick. Exodus 33:20. Okay. And it says in Exodus 33:20, but he said, you are unable to see my face, for no man does see me and live. Okay, so, that's kind of interesting considering that Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob have all seen Yeshua. They've all seen the Most High, Yahweh. Jacob seen him at the top of the ladder even, but they did not die. So it's very interesting when we get to Exodus and Yahweh tells Moshe, anybody sees my face, they're going to die. So that's kind of interesting, huh? That's, Okay. So then, things changed after Jacob. Alright, so now Jacob's gimping around in the desert trying to catch up to everybody and trying to see what Esau's going to do to him. More to come. Getting intense, isn't it? Just wait until we get into the extra canonicals, because it goes into a lot more depth about all of this, including Lebanon. And they established the border of Lebanon. Pretty crazy, huh? Alright, gang, well, that's all I got for tonight. I hope you all enjoyed this Bible study, and I hope that you're able to put these pieces together so that way you can understand from Genesis 1:1 what's going on here. And if by some chance you just happen to find this video and you watched it and might be interested in reading along with us some more, go back to Genesis 1:1 and start there and catch up to us. Hey, I'll be right here waiting for you. You don't have to rush. You don't have to do anything. Just go back to Genesis 1:1 and start in the beginning. Just like you'd read any book. Makes a lot more sense if you do that. Okay? Alright, gang. Thank you so very much for joining me tonight. And we'll catch you on Shabbat. Shalom.